All right, we have been without box lacrosse for a little over a year now, and I've been trying to find the silver lining, and I think I've got it. We now have the chance to take a closer look at the 2021 NLL Draft Class and get even more excited about the stars of tomorrow. So for the next few weeks, right here on Thunderbirds TV, in no particular order, we're going to be profiling those players, and today we get things started with Ryan Lanchbury. Standing at 6 foot, weighing 175 pounds, he has been lighting it up in NCAA Division I lacrosse with the University of Richmond Spiders, where he's averaging just over 3.8 points per game. And over the years with the Burlington Chiefs, where he's averaged just under 4.2 points per game. He's a sharpshooter with an incredible ability to feed the ball, a student of the game, and a fierce competitor. But don't just take it from me.
My game is based upon, kind of a playmaking style, kind of a feeder first mentality. I like to get my teammates involved. I like to, kind of emulate, a lot of players that I grew up watching, a lot of players that I like to watch in the NLL now, and be really deceptive and creative, and make plays in different ways. And I think that helps my game. And I'd say just kind of the counterpart to that is just maybe an IQ for the game that keeps me a step ahead. Since I was a young kid, I've always had a really big passion for the game, and I love to learn and grow through film, and that was something that was fostered from an early age. I loved watching games. I loved when I was a little kid going and watching players really closely and just kind of picking up on different facets of different players, and kind of bringing that into my game.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking about Lanch going in the draft for probably close to 5 years now. But obviously the first thing that any team that selects him, they're going to get a high amount of offensive output, and they're going to get a heck of a competitor as well. That guy hates to lose. Even after wins, going in the locker room, he holds himself to a high standard. If you feel like he didn't have a good game, you'd be able to tell, when you're looking at him and talking to him. So I think that's a guy that you're going to see keep pushing his ceiling. He's a guy that sees the floor incredibly well. Obviously very athletic and a great stick.
He is an elite scoring talent, whether he's setting up other players on the floor or putting the ball in the net himself. This is a guy that has been a highly touted prospect for quite a few years now. He really jumped onto the scene a couple of years ago with the Burlington Chiefs. He's a guy that anyone is going to want to grab, and if they're going to want to grab him, he's going to need to be near the top of the draft, because I don't see him lasting past the first 3 picks, maybe not even past number 1 or 2.
I remember before coaching him, I played with him. We were calling him up to Oakville Senior A, and himself and another guy, Callum Jones, we were putting them both in our Senior A lineup in the playoffs against Six Nations. He's used to playing against, top end athletes at a higher age group.
I've had some experience playing against smaller guys the last couple of years. I battled some injuries through the later part of my junior career, which stopped me from playing with the Oakville Rock after our season. But when I was a little younger, 17, 18, 19 years old, I had the opportunity to play up with those guys and play some meaningful minutes. And I learned a lot about myself. And it's a different league. You're playing against grown men, and finding open space is a lot harder when you're getting bumped around. Setting picks against guys and not being able to move them, doesn't do the job. You got to find ways to get yourself and your teammates open.
It's always a little bit harder to crack the NLL from an offensive standpoint than it is a defensive. You always find you can hide a little bit more out there, maybe more on the defensive end. That's coming from a D guy. Whereas offense, the light's on you. The lights are on you right away, and you have to produce. So I think for him, it'll just be learning, a new system, and then finding his role within that.
Since I was a little kid, I've always had this, incredible passion to play in the league, and to play with some names that I grew up watching and idolizing. So I think that's just something that really excites me. It's just going to be an incredible opportunity if I'm fortunate enough to make it, and to continue to learn and grow, and hopefully have a long career, I hope.